Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of our Salem by Night Chronicle. I am the Reverend Archon. I'll be your storyteller this evening, and last we left off with our Anarchs, we opened up with Samuel meeting the very affable Barnaby J. Jones, who asked him to find out who is targeting his chowder, and that way he can decide whether or not to continue using his services so they can act upon that information. In the bargaining, he offered a boon from himself and his sire, and before leaving, Sam found out that his chowder is one Ivory Larson and that his sire is one Geraldine Birmingham. So a boon from him and the Toreador Primogen on the other side of the river seemed pretty good. But before leaving his scene, we saw him ask Kevin to look into Ivory Larson. In Erikson's apartment, we got to see him waiting for the rest of the group, but we learned that there is a little bit of construction still going on in the apartment buildings, and that Mickey Blue Eyes was still looking for information on the Sunshine Corporation. And when Sam arose, he shared the information that he got from Barnaby, trying to figure out whether or not Erikson knew that gentleman. They waited for a little bit to see if Andreas showed up, and when he didn't, they went looking for Jimmy Trash Cans, the Bonar in Kaiser. They found him playing a drum set of different trash cans next to a dumpster, and he revealed his new menu of items since people were starting to be stingy around him, which included a $5,000 option called the Cavalry. But he told them that just like he was paid to do, he bugged the hell out of the Devil's Disciples to the point where they won't drive around anymore by themselves. They are riding around in pairs or trios. And after their conversation with him, they told him to kind of step it up a notch. They went over to a telephone and called Shepard to find out if Andreas had left any messages for them, and he let them know that he had left after he woke up, and didn't say where he was going, that he should have been with them. And Sam noticed a Restless while this phone call was going on. I was following Erikson around. It turned out to be, from his description, Erikson's wife, who was his first victim after becoming a kindred. They decided to call the Baron at the Wicked and the Vine to let her know about the situation. They spoke to the bar manager, Melissa, but learned that Yvette Morrison had left around 2 in the morning with Camarilla and Gustav. And as they went down, they noticed a couple of spotlights around the old record store. And when they got there, they saw that there were 3 figures obfuscated across the street, kind of with worried looks on their faces. And they saw that there was a man that was chained around the doors with a piece of wood sticking out of his heart. And they took it as a sign that this was a message. So they packed up the corpse into their trunk and took off to see Johann, who we haven't met yet, who is somebody that Sam knows. And unbeknownst to them, in a van down the street, a camera lens was capping the lens of a camera, and an unmarked van calmly drove away from the scene. And we left off with a little dynamic duo heading to see Johann, but let's pick up earlier in the evening with Andreas. We get to see baby's day out, as it were.
Oh no.
So you awaken, and there is this creature. It's kind of hard to explain. It kind of looks like a spider, but it has too many jagged edges. It's pulsing, almost like it has this bioluminescence to it, and it's just sitting on your chest when you awake.
On my chest.
On your chest.
Okay. Is it tangible when I freak the fuck out and try and get it off of me?
It moves with you, and but it does kind of look like it's attached to you. And as you start to come down, it vomits a small index card. It's a postcard actually.
Into my hand, on towards my face. Is it?
It looks like a motel near Kaiser. It says, "Wish you were here." On the back, there is an address kind of written across one of the corners, but in Romani, it says, "Come alone, or the old geezer becomes a fossil. Tell no one we are watching."
And so, jagged creature is still just stuck to my. Is this? Does this seem like a hallucination? Is there any mirrors in the area? Like,
no. This kind of, and once you look at the card and you turn up and you see the message and then you kind of look back at it, it starts to become translucent and it starts climbing up towards your shoulder.
And once again, just not trying to be violent, but just a cursory, what the fuck is going on?
Your hand goes right through it.
Okay, well, you handed it to the one guy who's used to illusions and strange shit going on, so.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess I'm good. This is definitely my sire we're talking about, so I guess I'm gonna have to be on my way.
Okay. You follow you see Shepard sitting there as you're coming out of your little cubbyhole. He's cleaning a gun, and he looks up at you. Everything all right? Heard you kind of shuffling around in there.
It's really weird when one of our kind has, call it bad dreams, kind of brush at my shoulder where the thing is, just in case. Just another one of those. Like, no, it's still missing. Is that my gun?
Oh yeah. You gonna need it?
I always need it. Wait, by the way, is this one of my rifles or is this something a little more compact?
No, it's one of the 9mm.
Okay, then yeah, definitely one of the 9mm. Oh, got a little private business to handle this evening, so I trust you to keep everything under control.
Understood.
And looking visibly twitchy. I'm getting ready to go.
Okay. So you'll drive off, and it's kind of weird. You'll notice that once you cross into the northern part of the city, there are Devil's Disciples, and they'll stop and look in your direction, but nobody does anything to you. It's almost like they're taking inventory of where you are.
Turning to the little thing on my shoulder, I'm like, you wouldn't have anything to do with this, would you?
Its little mandibles kind of come up and down.
So no audible communication, I'd figure out.
No audible communication, nope.
All right. But the disciples, at least they're keeping track of me. But well, blaze of glory if I have to.
You get to the hotel, to the little motel, and you will see that there's a dozen bikes parked out front, and there's maybe 8 or 9 guys, and they all stand there as you approach, and they form a line with their hands kind of all pointing in the same direction. And there's 2 that are on either side of a door, and one of them kind of knocks on it. And you see him open the door, says something to somebody inside, and then just motions for you. You know, park
Sorry,
somewhere. No.
I was, loading up one of my sheets.
Okay. You gonna park where they want you to, or are you gonna tell them to go fuck themselves and?
Just to surprise everybody, I'm gonna park where they want me to.
Good. So you park there, and once you get off, like there's a little group of 6 that come around. They're not touching you. They're just kind of leading you towards the door. And one of the guys at the door will actually like motion. Gotta pat you down.
Do it slow. Do it sexy.
Kind of cocks an eyebrow, but he does pat you down. What weapons does he find on you?
Well, he would find my usual. He'd find my usual 9mm. Depending on how hard he's gonna look, I usually do have the revolver on me just in case of these sort of situations.
Yep. Yeah. So he'll find that there. They are being thorough. Nice pieces.
Yeah. And usually there's a large K-bar knife.
Kmart knife?
K-bar.
Oh, okay. I was like, Kmart. That's.
I just felt like the eye of Sauron of every Marine that ever lived just stare at in your direction for a moment.
I don't know what I'm talking about. And as you are let into this room, we'll switch over to a little bit later in the evening. As Sam and Erikson are pulling up to Johann's house. Sam, what does this house look like?
A house is probably an understatement. It's probably a smallish mansion. Has a wall and a gate for the driveway. It's sort of it's not native to I say native, but it wasn't built by people in the area. It was designed by someone European, maybe French. So it doesn't necessarily look like your normal Salem house.
Yeah, it definitely sticks out from the rest of the upper class neighborhood. A neighborhood that I don't think Erikson has ever actually known to exist in the city.
No, this is. Yeah, I've only been in the city. I haven't been in the city for that long, but still, I would have thought I would have run into something like this.
Like when you were in the Malkavian Primogens area, like that was affluent. But this is on a level that almost feels like you could step out. Like if you went any further into this kind of territory, it would turn into ranches. But you know that the forest and the national park is further west than anything else.
No, it's it is done very. It's done deliberately to make you feel that you are not in Salem. That's a level of fuck you money that I have yet to see in Salem. So to see that, yeah. And then under my breath, I go, "This is exactly what I want." just like it's just that feeling. That's that feeling of like I have this much power that I go. You know what? I don't want to be in Salem. No longer Salem anymore. This is the Republic of whatever the fuck now.
I want to be next to Salem, and if I want to go to Salem, I have that choice.
I want to slum it. If I want to slum it, then I'll go across the street.
Yeah, I'll put on my slumming it guayabera and then go into the streets. Yeah. The gentleman at the gate just kind of gives a curt nod and a wave to the driver, who curtly waves and nods back, and the gates open up, and you drive around this kind of question mark of a path that leads to the house, and you'll see that by the time that you get up to to the gate, to the house proper, there is a young woman who has a legal pad up to her chest, pencil skirt, kind of business shirt, not the ones with the shoulder pads or anything. Ponytail, glasses, book nerd kind of. But standing next to her is this gentleman. Sam, what does Johann look like to Erikson?
Johann's imposing. He's not. He's sort of physically like Sam. He's tall. He's thin, but there just seems to be something about him that is just more. He's French features, dark hair, real, like everything is perfect. But yeah, he's a severe looking man, very well dressed again, well put together, very similar to how Sam appears.
Yeah, he's right now. He doesn't have the jacket, but he does have the vest and the slacks of what would be a three-piece business suit. No tie, the top button's undone. But it's a dark gray that almost looks black in like the lack of light. But with the lights outside, you can see just that there are shades of gray as he kind of shifts from one foot to the other. And as you park, his hands come out. It's not friendly. It is a friendly gesture. But from him, it looks like a shark bringing you into its gravity. Samuel, it is good to see you.
Good to see you, Johann. And he offers his hand.
And he'll shake your hand.
This is my new associate, Erikson Wood.
Ah, Mr. Wood. It is good to meet you. Johann.
I extend out my hand. It's pleasure is all mine. This definitely does not feel like Salem, I will say.
There is a good view from my tower. And he does point, and there is a addition, like a little reading corner of a tower on top of like one of his wings.
Mm-hmm. You mean spires, like a wizard spire, just some branches on the sides.
It's half a spire because it just kind of sticks out. You can see clearly across the river on a good night. You must take in the sight one night. To what do I owe the pleasure of this visit?
Well, best not to mince words, and he'll walk back to the trunk. If you wouldn't mind, Johann.
Yeah, and he comes around and he motions, Annabelle, please take notes. And she nods and walks with him.
Well,
I hold on to I hold on to the actual revolver that's on me, because you never know.
Yeah.
And I put my hand on the trunk, and I just before Sam speaks, or opens it, he speaks. We were looking for the Baron. It appears someone wanted to leave her a message. And with that, he will open the trunk.
Oh, goodness. That is a mess.
Indeed.
Tell me.
Annabelle, bring this thing downstairs, please. And he motions to the two of you. We will take him to the basement.
Thank you.
And he shows you around the side of the room. And you see Annabelle pick him up like nothing. Just Princess carries this big body. And as he leads you into the basement, it looks regal. There is a wall of wine bottles. There is, opposite of that, a wall with not art that's hung up, but definitely art that's propped up. that it looks like it's part of a collection of him just kind of revolving depending on his mood or the seasons. It looks like different pieces of artwork. But at the far end of the basement, there is this steel door, thick looking kind of prison door. The walls around it are concrete. They've been reinforced from the look of it. And he goes over and he opens it. And inside you will see what can only be described as a torture chamber. There's a steel chair in the center with leather straps. Off to the wall, there are chains that are hanging. There are different, not weapons, but instruments that are designed to cause pain. And he smiles as he turns back, and it is not a warm smile when he smiles at you. You are fortunate that I had cleaned this earlier this evening. I would hate to have you find it in the state of disarray that it was in. Annabelle, please.
I hesitate at first to walk in.
Yeah.
This is last time I was in something like this was. No, this is just me saying out loud. I'm not saying this to every. I'm not saying this is just out of character.
Yeah.
Last time I saw this, we burned the place down.
Yeah.
But not before seeing what was done here. If that is at all similar of what I'm witnessing, is this similar to that by chance?
Yeah.
Same.
There's less. It doesn't look like this is made out of hatred. This looks like it's made for facility.
Right, but essentially, I can assume what is done here would have resulted in what we've found in the back of that a floor shop.
In the back of the Malkavian's Primogen? No.
No. With they were making
oh no, this does not look like that.
Oh, okay. Just making sure, because my brain is automatically going, nope, turn around.
Yeah. But he motions.
Yeah. Sanders walks in. He's unperturbed.
Yeah. Annabelle, please. And she drops him onto the chair, and she immediately starts to tie up the leather straps. If you would like, you can take some of the chains off of the wall and maybe secure his limbs that way as well.
I do it just because I have a feeling I know what this is.
Oh, can somebody fill me in? This is exactly. I say that. I say it into as he's grabbing these cuffs and he's gonna put them on here. I'm like, can you explain what's going on here?
Oh, these are chains. Like these are long and thick chains.
Manacles.
Not even manacles. Like these are the kind of chains that you would like tie one vehicle to another to tow. And you notice that once Sam is going through the motions, there are little hooks on the floor that the chains will be looped through. And he looks at Annabelle as she finishes. Please turn on the camera. I would like some of this recorded if this is as bad as I think it is. And she nods and she goes outside. And that's when you'll notice that the two corners on the wall that has the door have cameras pointed straight into the center of the room.
Why are you recording?
A man has his kinks, yes?
Hobbies.
Hobbies is a good word.
For polite company.
I'm not going to disrespect this house. I'm just like
I appreciate it, Mr. Wood. Have you never dissected your prey?
I don't think about that too much, honestly. My apologies. I am Bruja, so
And
we.
he immediately looks at Sam, and there is this air of disappointment.
They reached out to me for help.
You are a smart man, Mr. Wood. Regardless of what your clan is known for.
I literally just like little tinge my
Mhm.
nostril just. Yeah.
Mhm.
I appreciate the compliment, and under my breath, although it was backhanded, but
Yeah. Adventure gonna venture, bro.
yeah.
And he looks at the body for a moment, steps around it. Samuel, before I remove this stick, what have you noticed? Have you kept up with
The
your
scars, the
Mm,
markings,
Yes.
similar to another. Do we know what tribe he is? I'm out of character.
No. No, you've never asked me.
No. They're similar to a lupine acquaintance. My
Eh,
immediate concern was that this is a really, really bad message.
Bruja and a Lupine. You have strayed very far from the reservation.
Business makes strange bedfellows.
Been riding with a werewolf? I'm like literally just like I am still trying to piece together what the hell's going on here. I am the person that's sitting on the outside of this conversation now. Like
Erikson, he has the same markings as Jimmy.
They are not defensive, but they are, in a manner, invited.
Hmm.
This one almost looks like a brand.
My concern is that one of us tried to embrace one of them.
And he'll reach his hand out, and without even being prompted, Annabelle hands him the pen that she was going to use. And you see him poking around where the stake is. You brought the body here immediately, yes? You did not inspect it at the site?
Beyond the cursory visual inspection, no.
He hands the pen back, and then he puts his hand on the stake and pulls. And as he pulls, we switch back over to the motel earlier in the evening. And the door is opened for you, and inside, Andreas, you will see there is this gentleman. He doesn't wear the Devil's Disciples cuts. And on the mirror that the dresser has in front of the motel bed, you notice that there is a little circle, like a little sunflower. There's a circle of Polaroids, and then there's a Polaroid in the center that have been taped to the mirror. All of the pictures are of Bartley in some way, shape, or form. The ones in the ring look to be surveillance pictures. The one in the center shows him staked on a chair, and there looks to be 3 shadows around him. One that is in the middle of removing themselves from the frame. But in the background, you will see that there are 2 other shadows of somebody else in the room with him.
And these are just photographs, obviously. We're still
Yeah.
in the fucking 80s right now.
Yeah. The
Oh, old man, what'd you get yourself into this time?
the room that he is in looks familiar to you.
Like, how familiar? Have I shot people in it before? Have I set that room on fire at any point?
It is a similar room to the one that Melvin set on fire. when he found out what happened to his daughter.
Okay. So this is how these motherfuckers entertain themselves.
But he puts down a small notebook that looks to be, has a pen set aside to the page. Andreas Barker, I believe, yes?
Judging by the sheer amount of pictures around here, you have no questions in your mind about it, so what?
We have an issue with your pack mates.
A lot
There-
of people tend to have issues with my pack mates. You're going to have to be a little more specific.
I don't mean, and he kind of points to your body. I mean these assholes. And he pulls out another picture, and it is a picture of Tucker White, Kevin Marlowe, Andrew Bates, and a young girl you don't know, who are all dressed in Free Souls gear. These fuck faces of yours killed some of my men and set a gasoline station on fire.
Now, a quick aside. When I heard those names, are these the fake members of the people pretending to be the free souls? That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, please tell me you have information on these people. These aren't mine.
They claim to be yours. So now we have a situation where I don't know who to believe.
Oh, I could care less who you believe. Just point me in their direction and I'll see to it. I don't know who they took these colors off of, but there's a bit of a debt of blood to be owed for that, along with any trouble they've caused.
I am confused. I know that your kind are prone to lies. But why would they gloat in the fact that they did this under your direct orders because they are under your direct group?
Because that would provoke the kind of reaction where you have my sire staked and photographed on the wall and calling me to this some sort of meeting just to complain to me about some wayward children that aren't even fucking mine.
I didn't know that he was your maker. I knew he was attached to you and to the group.
You don't see the family resemblance?
He tries not to smile. Yes, clearly, the Romani must have worn off. How old are you?
Circa 42. This century.
Right. Do you know the Alpha that we are currently being led by then? He claims that he was from your era.
I met a few of your kind over there during the war. Few in particular assholes I'd remember. Not bad. Nice that they've made it this long. Crying shame the boys couldn't get them back in the 40s, but
This one is different.
they're all different.
No, this one...
Every generation, new series of monsters. Something claiming to be the next ancient evil or the inheritor of the new Reich. I've heard it all.
This one was shunted into one of the far realms where he didn't age like he should have. seems that one of Adolf's awakened did him a favor.
Well, the little cubs of Fenris never really did have a very good idea of good. Have a good sense of sorry, stumbling. Good sense of ideas of how to handle themselves. This one sounds no different.
Unfortunately, his time away has made him stronger than we are able to deal with. I just wanted to know if you had had any interaction with him in the past.
In the recent past, or in the distant past? In the recent past, I've run into him a couple of times, and the fact that I'm still alive should tell you I'm none to be fucked with. And the last time I did see him, I recall putting a bullet through his head.
You're the one with the silver gun.
And the dead I aim. I heard the howl, so I know he isn't dead.
He isn't. He is proud of his scar, but he isn't. I am also a full moon, but I do not share his breeding. You say you don't have anything to do with.
You can go.
You say you don't have anything to do with this group?
No, as you so succinctly put it, my kind tends to have a sense of politics and infighting amongst ourselves and blaming each other or blaming each other's groups in the public eye for activities such as this. Very commonplace and very much frowned upon, which is why it's used as a weapon. We prefer to keep our existence quiet, much like you. Unlike you, we don't hide out in the woods to do it. We have to live among our prey.
He snaps his fingers, and you'll see the little spider climb down your arm, jump onto the desk, and climb onto his hand. Not all of us are in the woods, Mr. Barker.
Enough to make it where I don't want to be normally, but I've seen a few of your kind in the cities as well, so. Frankly, normally I try and stay out of your way, live and let live and all.
Smart.
It's how I've lived when most of my clan has not.
How did these people take your colors then?
That is a wonderful question and something I dearly love to ask them. Do you have any better photos of the colors?
And
back view, front view.
He does take some pictures and hand them into you, and you can see exactly who was killed for their colors.
I start listing off the names one at a time with each of the set, and I'm sure my boys haven't heard from them in weeks, so
yep.
I know exactly who to carve the names into their chests.
One of my kind has recently turned against us, even though our alpha has expressed that this group of motorcycle enthusiasts are not to be harmed. Is this their doing as well, or someone else?
By what myself and my packmates investigated, it's the Devil's Disciples most likely. Or I'm sorry, talk about the other motorcycle. We are talking about the Devil's Disciples from
yes.
the other group, right? Well,
yeah.
Okay. To the best of our knowledge, it is the Devil's Disciples. What I'm not entirely sure of is if it's their idea.
I'll need to return with some information from you.
Well, everyone among my kind seems to think they're playing some centuries-long game of chess, and the point of the game to them at first is to collect pawns. So, what kind of information do you need?
What are the names of the lupines that you've dealt with?
In this city?
Yes.
Whose names do I have beside the Bonar?
I mean, you have the Glasswalker, if you want to throw him under the bus.
No. I haven't had any really solid contact with any of the lupines in a way that didn't involve us shooting at each other, clawing at each other, or in other ways trying to destroy one another. So I've seen that weird breakdancing werewolf from time to time, but I can just smell him.
He immediately breaks the dresser when you say that. And you see him grow about a foot in height and about another 6 inches in width. Jimmy, I'm familiar with him.
Well, I'm glad you are. I've tried to steer clear of him as best I can. Like I said, live and let live, and do it at a fair distance if I don't have to kill any of you.
Stay away from Jimmy trash cans.
Does he pose some kind of threat to me? Or to you?
Both. He is packless for a reason. You cannot trust a wolf with no brethren.
For a very similar reason is why my motorcycle gang trusts each other. None of us are worth anything by ourselves, but as a group, so I understand. I'll do my best to avoid the other city slicker. Because yeah, I also don't want to get fucking Jimmy in any active trouble if he's not supposed to be fucking with the local popsicles.
Yeah, look at you getting involved in the werewolf politics. But
I'll be once again the only vampire who's spoken to a werewolf lately face to face and probably got away with it.
No. And he points to the picture of Tucker's pack. When was the last time you dealt with them? And he starts to melt back down to his normal size.
I note to myself that I was just like, all right, when he loses his temper, he's gonna get fucking bigger. And also take a measure about how big he got when he changed. And if any fur came out. If this comes to combat later and I don't want to shoot at this guy, which is probably not the case.
He is about 5'10" normally. He got up to 7 feet. And he got a little bit of like a Hugh Jackman hair on his face and his body, but he did not get furry.
Okay. Just for future reference.
Yeah, for werewolf players, he does have fair glabro.
Yeah. Okay. So, I really don't consider the last time I faced that pack to be secretive information, so I can give them a quick rundown of my contact with them before, why they might want to be maintaining themselves as members of the Free Souls.
All right. And as he takes in that information, we'll shift back to later in the evening as you are in Johann's basement torture chamber. The two of you will see him, no effort whatsoever, just pulls a stake free and the body doesn't move.
Okay.
Yes. It is dead.
That's a relief.
Like dead, like, or us dead.
No, dead. These, and he points out the bite marks. They have drained him, which is bad for you if they are still in the area. They will be prone to frenzy. One does not drink from a lupine for fun. There was a purpose here.
Hmm. I go into my notepad and I scratch off where I wrote bite into lupine. I go not don't do
That's
that.
off. That's off the list now.
That's off the list now.
Yeah.
Um, is but as far as the markings on him, is there anything that you can tell us about that?
And from cursory looks, this is in fact, as Samuel has said, this was a message. They wanted him to be found.
Trying to set the lupine against the Anarchs.
But who?
I don't think. But do you think that this was for us because we just happened to find it?
It wasn't for us, I don't think.
I don't mean
were
this
just
with any disrespect, Mr. Wood, but until today I had never heard of you. This is not the message for you.
Yeah, he says that, and you can like the glint in my eye just like dies a little.
Mhm,
It's like,
mhm.
yeah, that's number 18 of the people have told me that they
Yeah.
don't know who I am.
They don't know who you are.
They don't know who I am.
Did you call the restaurant to speak to the Baron?
They were out. Her in the I'm spacing on the other two names.
Gustav and Camilla.
Gustav and Camilla.
The whole council. That is odd.
It's been an odd night.
But someone else thinks it's odd. Trying to do the right thing here, and no one's available.
Well, you have brought him to me. I will take this from your hands. If you are okay with that, Samuel.
I am, thank you.
Before we hand off this poor unfortunate soul, we already checked his pockets and all that beforehand. I believe we did that in the last towards the end of the last session, or no? We just tossed him in.
Yeah. And he smiles at you as like, may I show you something, Mr. Wood? And there's a moment where he puts his hand on the guy's forehead, closes his eyes, and you'll feel this odd sensation like stepping through a door of water. And Annabelle just kind of shivers as she's standing outside the room. And then he comes to. These men, he knew his killers. They were familiar to him. But they were not kindred. This man was subdued by associates, friends. And he starts mentioning how they looked, and Annabelle starts drawing. And once he's done, she shows you.
Okay.
And it looks like people from the Devil's Disciples.
Anybody in particular that we've seen?
No.
How do we know that it would be Devil's Disciples?
By the appearance of their vests or jackets.
That's a rival motorcycle gang.
Yes. Devils, unfortunately, they've been causing a lot of problems. They've also been pretending to be another club here in Salem. So, yeah, interesting that they're that this would be something that they're a part of. But you're saying that they treated him as friends. These were associates, you said?
They were associates of him until they subdued him. They used silver to keep him from transforming. And then he starts to rattle off facts, and Annabelle flips the page and starts drawing again. These were the group that did him in, however. And when she turns the drawing around to you, Erikson will recognize Tucker White and his pack.
Yeah. So all points, all roads lead back to this douchebag. Great. So, all right.
This
yeah,
was
and I'll actually rattle off I'm rattling off those names.
Okay, and she writes it down.
Because now we need to have Tucker White, there's douchebag Andrew Bates, and then there's the chick, which I forgot her name already, Fatima.
Yeah.
Fatima.
And Kevin Marlowe.
And Kevin Marlowe.
Well.
Yep.
He adjusts
Yeah,
his
we've
checks.
been
This is good
Same-
information
we've
to
been-
have.
Yeah, he's seems like some people need to be put in the ground.
That's what we've been trying to do now for the past couple of weeks. Unfortunately, they do run with some they do have some unsavory company.
He points to Tucker, and he looks at the two of you. I would be careful with this one. He is a dragon.
Fantastic.
Like a literal dragon? Not like I need to
Zimitzi.
ask.
He's a Zimitzi,
Thank you, Samuel.
which means that is probably one of his faces.
Yeah. I'm actually quite familiar with Samitsi. What about the other two? Do you have any other information of the rest of the group?
From what I saw, they are simple-minded. They bend the knee to this Tucker. The girl seems to incur disfavor. Something about her attitude and the way they view her feels different.
What was the memory, or at least the last memory of this person before they did him in, so to speak?
From what I could surmise, they wanted him to know that he was being fed on.
Where was this at? Could you give a description of what it looked? Are you able to see the place this happened?
It was a room similar to this one. Chair in the center. Cameras. They wanted to record it.
I start describing the room that we were in when we found my ghoul.
Very similar, yes.
Okay. I see that this is going to keep happening. And this is still happening.
Well,
But why then but I am confused. Who are they trying to leave a message for?
That I cannot tell you.
well, these were the same people that Grant was asking you about, correct?
No, these are the same people that Grant has used.
Right. And what is his affiliation?
With them?
No, in general.
Oh. He's a Sabbat. Templar, actually.
Correct.
Mm.
So, why just hit one side of the river?
Yeah. Okay. Erikson just sits back a little bit and he's like, he thinks about it for a moment. I take it we're gonna have to go to Kaiser, but before we do that, we need to find Andreas because it has now been. And I look at the time.
You don't got no watch.
Yeah, I do.
Casio.
We went over this last time. You don't got no watch.
It's a Casio.
I gotta get myself a watch. There's gonna be a clock in this room.
So
A
keep in
battery
mind,
operated clock.
But Johann does kind of look at Annabelle. We will need to dispose of this body, Annabelle. She nods. It is late. If the two of you would like a space to stay, I do offer you. And he kind of motions to the rest of the basement.
Mhm.
It would be rude of me not to offer courtesy.
Would I be able to extend that courtesy for a phone call? Because I need to just make a quick call here.
Of course. And he'll motion, and Annabelle will show you over to a little cubby, a little like boudoir, like a wardrobe that opens up into like modern items. The TV for where the cameras feed into. There's a phone, things like that.
Yeah. I pick up the phone. Like obviously it's a rotary phone,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So I pick up the receiver and I actually take a moment to inspect the receiver before I start dialing this number.
It's an old phone. It looks like one of those phones from the 1950s. It has a little kind of cradle. The thicker handguard, but it's kind of got the little seashell kind of
Right.
mouthpiece.
Hollow receiver that you can hide stuff in it. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's what, if you kind of catch my drift, what I'm trying to do
Oh
right
yeah,
now.
it's classy.
All right. So I guess I'm not going anywhere with that. So anyway, just
I mean, if you want to make a roll, because I can sense you wanting to roll dice.
I'm trying to say it without saying it. I'm trying to say it without saying it.
Yeah. Go ahead and make a wits and insight roll.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
A hunger 2 doesn't matter,
6
bro. When you
dice.
got 6 dice.
I know. And luckily this is not a combat thing, so it's not like I'm hopefully messy critical will not cause me to just rage
Yeah.
out. Let me think about this phone call.
Break his phone. Fuck your old phone.
Yeah, well, you know.
Get
All
a touchpad.
Don't stand
10
too
and
close.
4 on the hunger, 7, 8, 3 and 3. So
Okay.
that's 3 successes.
3 successes. The phone does look like it's one of those things where you could hide a bug. It looks like one of those classic. There's places all over the phone, not just in like the handset, like the actual base of the phone.
Mm-hmm.
But
A lot of places. Too many places to check.
but you also noticed his electronic stuff was outside of any place normal. It was kept away. It was like hidden away.
Mm-hmm.
Like to use the
So-
phone, you would have to sit in front of this cavernous kind of piece of furniture that would just echo around the room because your sound is kind of bouncing immediately and coming back at you. It would be
Gotcha,
it would
gotcha.
be disruptive to bug that kind of technology.
At least that's what I'm surmising.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've been a little too paranoid lately. That's exactly what I say to myself. I'm like, man, I've been starting to act like a Malkavian here. Okay, so grab the receiver and I actually call the apartment. I'm gonna see if I just on an off chance
Mhm.
that Andreas happens to be there.
No answer.
When was the? I would imagine that the free souls have a general location, even though they stop at different places. Since we're in this area, I imagine that they use a certain payphone that I could call them upon.
I mean, you have Shepard's apartment that you can call. There's a couple of them that have that live out of the apartments in the same building as you.
So yeah, just Shepard's
offered
then.
them. You offered them some room.
Yeah, so I'll try Shepard's then.
He picks up. Hello.
Shepard, this is Erikson.
Oh,
How's your night so far?
Mr. Wood. All right, just brewing some coffee. Waiting to hear back from Andy to see if I need to pick him up somewhere.
Okay, good. Please just let him know that our current location, if it does, and I start giving him location of where we're at.
Okay.
In fact, and if anything, if he gets this after a certain, what time is it right now? In fact,
It's almost 4 in the morning.
yeah. If you see if it's starting to become daylight, don't worry about giving him this. You give him the message, but just let him know that if it's gonna be daylight soon in the next 3 hours. If he doesn't get this in time, just let him know. We'll find him the next day, or meet at the apartments tomorrow.
All right, I'll let him know if he calls in.
I appreciate it. You have a great night.
You too, Mr. Wood.
So, that's all I really wanted to do.
Yeah.
With that, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for letting me use the phone.
Of course. Would you require some sleeping bags or some cots, or is the floor to your liking?
A cot wouldn't be too bad. Hard to, contrary to my outfit, I do actually like to sleep in clean attire. So
I understand. Sometimes we look at someone and we see what we want to see. And he motions and Annabelle scurries away. Comes back about 10 minutes later to 2 cots, a couple pillows and some blankets.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it. Thank you so much.
If you need anything, I will leave Annabelle here until you fall asleep. But I will be inside dealing with other things. And he kind of nods to Samuel.
Oh, just to know, if in the next hour or so there may be company. I did call upon somebody from my coterie that might show up. That might be a possibility. It might not be. I just want to give you a heads up, just so you don't shoot at him while he's on his way in here.
He stands there for a moment, and then slowly he smiles. Yes, thank you for passing this along to me, Mr. Wood. And then he just turns and walks away.
Yeah, I think I overextended. It's just like that's what I tell Sam. I'm like, yeah, I think I overextended.
And Annabelle does
He might
grab
show
like a
up, it's fine.
stool and just sit off in the corner.
Okay. It's okay if you want to be in the corner, but if you don't mind conversation, we're not heading to bed just yet, I guess.
She nods.
Like my game is horrible right now, so I'm just like, okay.
You
Like
can
I
stop
can't.
trying.
I've been. Yeah. After I had it, I have a wife. I stopped. Well, what happened? Like I don't know how to.
Yep.
the kids today will say, "Wow, I said the kids today." The kids today will say
Kids
Riz.
today. Yeah, the
I
kids
have
today.
no Riz.
But she sees you floundering, and then she looks at Sam.
He'll
And
just
she-
tire himself out.
And she gives you the sign language. Does he not know that I can't speak?
He points at his ear. She can't speak.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and try to recall some broken ASL that I would have learned because I had to promote, I had to campaign there before I became who I am today. I was a state senator,
Mhm.
and it was for the Bible Belt. We love all of God's children. That includes.
You don't, but thank
I
you
will-
for believing that.
I will say
You
he
know what I
means well.
mean. You know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
we love all of God's children, so I've had to.
Until they're born, and then they can go
Provide-
fuck themselves.
Until they're 18, which means they can serve, and then afterwards they can go
Oh.
fuck themselves.
Nah, they gotta pay taxes, bro, or else they don't count. You think back and you remember thank you. Just boop. And you remember
I do
giraffe
exactly that.
for some reason, which is like tapping 2 fingers and then shooting up.
However, I do also know that if I do this the wrong way, it says other things. So
I mean, you
When you
probably
learn-
didn't
you
learn
learn
giraffe,
words.
but you learned how to hide what you did learn
Mhm.
as giraffe.
Yeah.
Is he
Mhm.
saying hello or
'Cause you
telling
know-
you to out third?
Yeah. It's like, are you giving me your sexual orientation? Thanks. I appreciate it. I didn't thank you.
I didn't
Thank you.
I didn't need to know this, but I
I didn't
appreciate
ask
you.
for it, but sure.
Yeah.
But for sure.
She is okay.
So I just motion thank you.
Yeah.
I just motion thank you. That's all I do.
And as you were saying thank you to Annabelle, we shift back over to earlier in the evening as Andreas is sitting with this lupine. And he stands up, kind of his full height. All right. So you're saying that you don't associate with them? That they're trying to use your good name?
Well, both of you do assume I have a good name, but yes, they've basically been using the name, dragging the name of my club through the mud, so that we run into trouble with all the mortal authorities and some of the immortal authorities that would take, shall we say, issue with with my group being too public in its acts of violence, unwanted attention, as it were. So no, as far as I'm concerned, this group is kill on sight for me. So, as I've said already, point me in their direction and hand me those weapons back you guys took at the door, and I will see to their end.
Oh wow, we lost Kenny. What the fuck? Annabelle just fucked him up.
That's what happens when you hang out with Ventru all night.
See that, bro?
I think he fucked up the sign language.
I think he
He
did fuck up the sign language. He used the wrong sign. I'll tell you what.
Back to my glasswalker friend.
Yeah. I'm glad you picked up on what tribe he is.
I more or less guessed when the thing was spider-like, except too many jagged edges. But you know.
Yeah, you know, the Weaver.
Yeah, right. Right now, the player is speaking, not the character. So.
Yeah. He goes, all right. I'm willing to test your theory then. And he grabs one of the papers out of his notebook, tears it out, and writes something down and hands it to you. This is where we've seen one of them coming and going the last week. We were going to act upon it after we dealt with you, but if you don't have anything to do with them, I think a test is in order.
I think a massacre is in order. So looking, yeah, checking the address. Will, is this a familiar place?
It is somewhere down in Hayesville. It's not even in Kaiser. Like it's further south. It's still north, but it's a good like 10 minutes south of Kaiser itself.
All right. So is this a place I'd be able to get to tonight?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
He goes here, and he puts the spider back on the desk, and it comes over and it moves its little mandibles again. He'll report back.
Glass nose. I put my hand out where the spider can actually crawl back up onto me.
It does, and comes back to your shoulder where it was before. Our little friend there can report back to me if you're telling the truth or if you're using this as a way to escape.
The only person who needs to escape is my prey.
In some other life, you could have been a lupine.
Well, I mean, I got bit by a vampire first. What are you gonna do? I mean, is that even how you guys? Is that how you guys change too? Do you
No.
Guys do you guys fight each other and change? Okay.
No, we're born into it.
How many chances am I gonna get to ask this question?
Right. Well, your candle's burning. If
No idea.
you kill this man, my associate will come back to me, and you are free to go. If you warn him in any way or help him escape our grasp, you will be the first to know what it is like to be hunted.
Wouldn't be the first time, but you have nothing to worry about. And I am collecting my weapons as I leave, including that little revolver.
Yep. And he does stand at the doorway as he opens it and lets you out, and you see him kind of look at it as you grab it. Oh, yeah. I thought I sensed it.
Been handy so far.
And the Devil's Disciples all look at him when you're being let out, and he just kind of nods. He's safe for now. And there's a few of them that are just like, man. Oh. But otherwise, the group is just like, they open a path to your bike, which hasn't been touched. It's been looked after. It's still there.
Have a little fun with them. As I get on the bike and get ready to roll away.
Yep.
I don't know what the role for this to be, but I want all of them except for my lupine buddy who I was talking to before. to suddenly feel dozens and dozens of spiders crawling around inside their clothing.
Ooh.
He gave me an idea.
Yeah, of course he did.
Yeah, and it's only affecting touch. I don't.
Yeah, the one sense.
That unnerving that when they go to look, it's nothing there.
Yeah. No, that's a good use of Fata Morgana. So it's gonna be one rouse check. See what happens.
Forgot what the roll for the rouse check. Hello.
Yeah, what?
What was the roll for the rouse check?
1d10. Six. Okay, so you do it without getting hungrier. And now you roll your manipulation and obfuscate. How many hunger dice do you have?
One hunger currently.
Yeah, you should be fine.
Okay. All right. All right. 9, 10, 2, 2, Hunger die 6, and then 7 and 4.
Okay, so it sounded like more than 2 successes.
Yeah, about 3 or 4.
Okay.
Pretty the hunger die.
Vampires and other supernatural creatures have a chance to disbelieve the hallucination, but mortals do this only if they have a reason to suspect it to be fake. They've seen some shit with this glasswalker, so it could be something. So I don't think they'll. I mean, their intelligence and awareness isn't going to be high enough, I don't think.
But also, they know creepy things are possible.
Yep. Yeah. They'll suddenly all just kind of start to like look for their wallet or keys, just kind of patting themselves, and the glasswalker does smile.
Yeah, I don't change my expression. I just continue to start the bike and just act like nothing's wrong.
Yep. And he'll shake his head as you drive off and just start helping each of them individually.
I'm petty.
Yeah. And you follow the address, you kind of look around for it, and you come up to this duplex. There's one main house, and then there's an off house that just looks like they share the wall. But you see that one of them does have a light on inside. The curtains are pulled closed, but you can see the outline of light on the inside.
All right, let me turn myself invisible now, since I don't have any coterie mates to worry about.
Ooh,
wondering where the fuck I went.
Yeah, so that's another Rouse check.
10.
Nice. Look at you using your blood without getting hungrier. You fancy.
So long.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
Skin on my teeth.
But you feel that you've pulled the shadows around you and that you are, for the most part, invisible.
Yeah. I just want to get a closer look inside the window, if it's my target already that I'm looking for.
It's a little rough. The curtains are pretty closed. But there is a kind of sliver on either side of it that you can kind of catch the far extreme angles.
Yeah, because I'm obfuscated, I don't really care how I look. I could be right up on the glass trying to do that shit.
But after a moment, you will see that from the angle that you have, a body comes from one side of the room to the other, and it is in fact Andrew Bates.
Okay. And so that was sorry to ask, that was the target he gave me, right?
Mhm.
Not a different member of the pack. All right.
Yep.
So we won't be using the revolver on this one. Ooh. Do I remember what clan Bates was?
I mean, it's either Zimitzi, Gangrel, or Bruja.
All right. Well, I better grow my claws first.
Just in case.
Yeah.
Another Rouse check.
9.
Nice.
Yeah, I wasn't saying no in German either.
Oh, you are skating around the inevitable.
Oh, I know what that means. I'm not rolling anymore for the rest of this session.
Oh, you're gonna roll all the dice now. But you sit there outside this man's window, and you grow your claws straight out of your nails.
So is he close? Is he closer to any doors or the window he passed by that I spied him through?
It looks like he went into the kitchen for something. And he's got he's coming back around. It looks like he's got a bowl with a towel coming out of it.
A hole with a towel coming out of it.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, fuck it. I'm impulsive. Let's disturb his evening. I'm gonna see. Is he close enough to the door that if I try to blast it off of its hinges with a good solid kick, I send it flying at him?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. Well then, door, Andrew, door.
Okay. Strength and brawl. That's a good dice pool for you.
Yes, it is. Still a hunger of 1 for now. Okay. Let's see. Hunger die 6, and then 10, 2, 7, 1, 8, 5. So 1, 2,
4 successes.
3. Yeah, 4 successes with the hunger die.
He's not expecting it. So I'll give him 1 die to try and avoid death as it comes at him. Doesn't do it. And the door crashes open. It flies off both its hinges. He drops the bowl, and you see ice and the towel kind of slide everywhere. And he takes full door to the front of the face, grabs it and throws it off, and just looks at you. You see him pull off the Henry Cavill, kind of cocking his guns, his arms. And as this is happening, we'll switch back over to Sam and Erikson. It's been about half an hour since Johann left. And he comes back. Samuel, I have looked through some of my resources to find these names. Have you interacted with them?
No.
He hands you a list of 12 names. These are the people that have gone missing recently. I narrowed it down to the last 6 months. 2 of them have turned up dead. The other 10 are still missing. And he slides his finger down to one name. Fatima Singh.
The name of one of our pack. Or their pack.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Exactly.
Well,
You said that they were Sabat, yes, Mr. Wood?
I can't get 100% confirmed that they are Sabat. I just know that they are working with a Sabat. So,
right.
might as
And
well be.
It should be noted that Grant did say they had a shuffle party recently.
Whatever the hell that means.
It means they're beefing up their numbers.
Yeah. It would mean, Mr. Wood, that they are 10 stronger than they were before.
Okay. I suppose that this needs to be dealt with then, sooner than later. All right.
If
I guess sunlight can't get here fast enough, so we can go. So we can actually get to the next day.
But before your anxiety takes control of you, Mr. Wood, how powerful do you know Tucker White to be?
Unfortunately, I've had very minimal conversation with him. Minimal interaction. I will say though that if him and his coterie are essentially what they have been doing as of late is causing a distraction or feels like they're causing distractions all throughout Salem, guising it as the work of my coterie. At least that's what the tower believes, as well as, and I don't know about the Anarchs, but
I have asked some of my associates to find out if they can probe his thoughts. I would hate for this to be a list. What do you Americans say? A grocery list for the creation of a war ghoul.
I'm just gonna act like I am a freshly new vampire and just ask. I imagine it's bad, but how bad can it be?
A war ghoul, I have only ever seen one in my life, and it terrified me. The one I saw stood 12 feet tall, maybe 8 feet wide, 6 arms, all clawed, thick legs like tree trunks.
Coming back to me now. So you are familiar with how this meets you work.
Yeah.
What if they were to take those 9 bodies and make them one?
Oh. The closest thing I've ever dealt with is a gargoyle. This seems like gargoyle plus 10.
Gargoyle. Here.
Yeah, you got to catch up. It's been a while.
I was under the impression that gargoyles only existed in the old world. None had stayed in the new land.
Wow. I hate to burst your bubble, but my face literally came 2 fists from a gargoyle. Literally knocked my block off.
You're lucky to still be here.
Oh,
And he'll turn.
Like I said,
He'll turn to Samuel. This does not bode well. Could someone in the Tremere have resurfaced the creation rituals?
That is a terrifying thought.
like, can I recall anybody on in my head? Like, when that was going on, we were trailing somebody. I'm trying to remember who it was.
Andrew Givens, who was a Tremere.
I would, in my experience, that instance was from someone who is no longer here with us. So I can safely say, at least in that iteration, is no longer around.
Plus, we
Have you
burned
seen the
his whole
ashes?
fucking office down. That was the first place I lit.
I love how you said you, like if I wasn't there. Again, even my own coterie says that I was.
You're not important, bro.
I'm not important enough. The building it was in was burned down to ashes. So, unfortunately, I hate using this word, but I can only assume that the body burned with it.
It's a terrible assumption.
You know what they say about assumptions.
Yes, you just proved it.
Yep.
What is
Just like I assumed this was a contract. I started literally ripping the paper that was been in my back pocket still.
Yeah.
I'm just like slowly start ripping it now because I'm like, this. My whole life has been assumptions.
Mr. Wood? Did you rifle through the Tremere's belongings? Do you know if he might have been corresponding with anyone?
Are you talking about not the one that we just found, but you're saying the person that I met that in
Andrew Givens.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just checking who we're talking about.
Yep.
Yeah, it's unfortunately the same person that's been dealing with Tucker White. That would be Andrew Givens.
Andrew Givens
Graham
is
Reynolds,
dead.
sorry. Graham Reynolds, sorry.
That does not answer my question. Did you rifle through the Tremere's belongings to find any correspondence?
No, unfortunately, I did not.
So he might have passed on his knowledge to someone else.
How many Tremere are in the city?
That I know of, there are 4.
Mm-hmm.
The Primogen, the Messenger, the... What is her name? She was ostracized. Gretel Meyer, I believe, is her name. She was found to be a child that was created without permission. And the 4th is the advisor to this bishop.
So there's one Sabat Tremere, one ostracized Tremere, a Primogen, and one other.
Yes.
Maybe we look into this Greta. Unless you have contacts with the other 2. Mr. Wood.
I'm trying to recall now in my notes, but Greta Myers.
Well, you know that the Tremere Primogen is the guy who owns the Vagabond? And you know that the other Tremere is Carl Keller, who is part of Ivory's coterie?
The 4th Tremere is actually part of it's actually part of the tower. Based on my interaction with them, I don't see them being somebody that would want this information or use this information like that. What I can say is the owner of the Vagabond is another Tremere that I've worked with, but I would probably, is this maybe something that we would bring up to the Primogen then?
If he'll see us.
I mean, I think that his temperament with me is, there's no issues there. I've had an audience with him before, actually a couple times. If you like, I can try to schedule that. But what would be more
step?
pressing? That would be more of a start from there instead of just getting into Kaiser, because or am I speaking too much Bruja at this point?
No, I mean, I think we need to chase down that lead, but we also need to check in with our other associate, Mr. Barker.
Of course.
That may change our plans too.
Yeah.
And
considering the time, I don't think we're going to see him tonight.
No.
I'm going to go ahead. I just want to make a quick phone call to my ghoul.
Yep.
And since we're not letting her know that we're not going to be in there tonight,
you get the answer machine.
I got the answer machine.
Yep.
I'll leave that information. 8, it is Sarek the Red. I just want to go ahead and let you know. Yeah, I say this out loud. Like, obviously, I'm on the phone. These guys can hear me.
Mhm.
I just nod my head and just shake. Just I've
Yeah.
disappointed someone.
I'm not going to be. We're not in the apartments tonight, so I need you to go ahead and take a look, check in the apartment. If you happen to see Andreas, just let him know that we'll be meeting him later. Later the next day. And I leave the message. But she normally does, like, and I think about it. How often does she not pick up the phone?
Rarely. She's only ever not picked up the phone when she's not at home.
Yeah. And I'm a bad vampire for not knowing what my current ghoul schedule is.
But it tracks for you.
You don't.
It's for me.
You're like, I need you to do this, and she's like, all right, you got it. And then, do you care what she's going through in her life? No.
No. Has she told me? Probably.
No one ever asks how I'm doing.
Probably not.
Nope. And as you're coming to terms with how bad of a dometer you are, we switch back over to Andreas. Andrew Bates just kind of looks at you and has that moment where he points at you almost like the Spider-Man meme.
I'm charging. This was like, I was supposed to be following that door immediately.
Okay. But yeah, the door hits him, he knocks it off, and right as he's pointing at you like that Spider-Man meme, you see just how crudely he has been made to look like you. It is like all the outside, like if somebody had seen you in a picture and then had described that picture to a police artist, and that police artist then worked on Andrew Bates. But it is like a game of telephone. Like, he's got some details correct, otherwise it is fucking, like, you look nothing like me, bro.
The first thing I'm going to do, just to fuck with him, I would love to just cast an illusion of a blindfold on him.
Okay.
Yeah. Only affecting his vision.
Yeah. So that's gonna be manipulation. Obviously, again, it's gonna be a rouse check.
Right. Rouse
What?
check first.
But a vampire does get to
Yes. He gets
debunk it.
if he can.
What's his
And
roll?
for once, I'm gonna get hungrier.
Ooh, there it is.
Got a 3 on the rouse check.
Yeah. The
Alright.
pendulum swings back.
Let's see. I said,
And of course, I roll doo-doo. All right, you only
loading up the two hunger die for the roll. Okay.
so you only need 2 for the 1 sense. Plus you have to get enough to beat his threshold. So
Okay. Well, let's find out. The hunger die are 6 and 7,
okay,
and then I got 2 6s, a 10, and 2 5s.
okay. So you got enough to beat the threshold, the difficulty class for the actual power, and you beat handily the number of successes that he got to resist. So there's a moment where he points at you. You have that realization that this guy looks nothing like you, first of all. And all he's wearing is that denim vest that maybe looks like yours if you like squint real hard and the light flickers.
Really insulted. I'm insulted that this other fucking werewolf is sitting here trying to pin this shit on me now.
Yeah. But all of a sudden, like, he's not wearing a blindfold, but he's like, where'd you go?
Yeah.
Where'd you go? And he starts backing off.
Oh, I'm still moving into. I'm slashing them up.
All right, make a strength and brawl check again.
And that is with 2 hunger die also, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. All right. So 8 and 6 for the hunger die. And
Okay.
then I got 2 1s, unfortunately, and then a 7 and 2 8s.
Okay, 5 successes. He can't see you, so he gets 1 to defend himself with. Claws are not reducible, unlike the door, who he did take half damage. You cut into him, and you notice that as you pull your hand free of his body, the wound looks grievous. It is very clear that you have gone past his superficial threshold and you are now doing aggravated damage. I'm going to give him another roll to try to resist the blindfold. I don't think I'm going to get the successes I need. I don't, because you rolled 5 for your activation. So you see him reach back, and with the superhuman strength that is known for Bruja, he picks up the whole couch and just swings wildly. If you would like to dodge, you get your full dice pool.
I would absolutely like to dodge.
Okay. Minus 1 die because you did clod him. So it would be your dexterity and athletics. So it'd be 4 dice.
Okay. Not as deep a pool as I'd like.
Yeah. He's not Babe Ruthing this, like he is fucking just swinging away.
He's string on
So-
this whole couch at me, so I gotta pay attention.
Yeah.
I just want to ask Storyteller real quick.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, sure.
this is a Bruja trying to look like a non-Bruja. Is that what you're?
Correct.
Is that what you surmised?
Correct.
Okay, they couldn't even get it. They couldn't even get it right. It could have just
None of the clans match up. Like, I don't know if you ever noticed that.
yeah.
But they had a Bruja pretending to be a Ravnos. They had a Gangrel pretending to be an Nosferatu, and then they had a Simitsi pretending to be a Bruja. And they didn't even trust the Bruja to be a Bruja.
That's wild. That is
Yeah.
wild.
And,
All we
yeah.
do with the
Just don't be yourself. That's exactly what it's just don't be
all this shit
yourself.
going on. Everybody, it's just it's a shell game where it's just like everyone just playing with who their fucking
Yeah.
line is.
Yeah. It looks like their coterie, like Andrew Bates' coterie, doesn't trust him like your coterie doesn't trust you. Like, they don't know who he is. They don't know who you are.
Anyway, so the for the next dodge, were there hunger dice involved on that also?
Yeah, and every roll gets hunger dice.
Nice. Okay, so the 2 hunger die are 6 and 4, and then
Nice.
7 and 8.
Yeah, all you needed was 1 success.
All right.
So you got the threshold. You clearly, like, you see where this is going. He's not aiming like in your direction. He's just aiming to like take up space and hope he hits. So you can just throw yourself back, kip up into a standing position. What do you want to do for your next turn?
I'm diving back in at him and slashing again.
All right, strength and brawl, full dice pool.
I want him dead. I want that spider to have a very interesting report to take back to that glass walker, as in, do not fuck with this leech.
Yeah. So go ahead and roll your strength and brawl. And let's see if you can take one of these pieces off the board.
All right. Double 6s for the hunger.
Nice.
And 6, 8, 7, 7, 1.
Okay, 6 successes. Wow. Finally got something higher than 6. So that means he takes 5. They cannot be halved. You have killed Andrew Bates. How does this happen? Walk us through how you take out Andrew.
After dodging the
The sofa?
dodging the couch, yeah, after dodging the sofa swinging at me, the kip up to my feet and a quick short sprint, hop step out of the way, like basically made so he'd have to swing the couch back farther.
Yeah.
And the clawed hand is going straight up under the rib cage, going for the heart to just wrap around everything and just human blender it.
Yeah. And
and let's not forget, I know whose colors he supposedly stole
Yep.
from the photos we saw earlier.
Yep.
Whisper in his ear. Whoever, I can't remember the, obviously don't know the name right now.
Yeah.
It's like they send their regards.
And there's a moment where he still thinks he's blindfolded in his last moments. So you're the only one that gets to see that his eyes like go wide. He obviously was not expecting it to go this way. And the couch just drops right where he was kind of in the apex of his swing.
And as a final act, this is not an attempt at Diablo Ray, but I am ripping out that heart and taking a bite.
Okay. Noted. I was gonna ask.
You are Diablo-izing.
I was gonna ask if you wanted to try that. But you do have a witness.
Yeah. Well, I'm doing this more symbolically than anything else. So
Okay.
no, I'm not actually trying to drink. I'm not trying to drink the heart's blood.
Okay. So no forbidden slurp for you. Noted.
Not tonight.
There's still two more.
Shame.
But you will see the spider become visible to you, and just kind of crawl down onto the body of this Andrew Bates, and it touches it, and there's a moment where the body just decomposes, and it looks up at you. It kind of wiggles its mandibles, and then it vanishes.
Okay. Well, now that he's dead and decomposed away, listening around me, am I hearing any other commotion from the other houses?
You can not the other houses, but you can definitely hear what sounds like a chair scooting from the basement.
Ooh, a chair scooting from the basement. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Let me turn myself invisible again.
Sure.
Again.
Yeah.
Rouse check, my friend. Excuse me.
Okay.
All right. At least you're not gonna be bleeding from the eyes like me.
No.
Give it time. All right. Rouse check 6.
Nice. You feel the shadows, a very familiar sensation. And you go downstairs, and you can see that there is what looks to be this misshapen human tied to a chair. It almost feels like a conjoined twin situation, except that instead of being symmetrical, it's off. There is a head coming off of somebody's hip, and the top body of it is kind of up. It's missing its legs. It's got 3 arms. It's got 1 leg on the bottom part of the torso. The top torso has its face kind of pulled, almost like the opposite of Beetlejuice, where they kind of shove their hand in. It's got 3 eyes on the top head, no eyes. Like it looks like somebody just kind of wiped the whole face clean for the face in the bottom. It's got 1 nostril for a nose. Its mouth is circular, and it looks like it has shark teeth. The top mouth looks like it has the extra teeth that have also been sharpened. It is very much what's that horror movie direct from the 80s?
Pieces? No.
No. It's not Verhoeven. I forgot.
Are you talking about the one where they put all the? Oh no, that's the one where they put all. Guy cuts up people and puts their pieces together to make a perfect person. So you're not talking about that one. I'm trying to remember the one.
No. Yeah, but it's
About Slither when all those fucking people were like merged into one fucking mass.
No, no, it was I forget the name, and it's gonna come back to me at some point. But he was known for body horror stuff.
Got it.
Oh,
So,
Cronenberg.
Cronenberg, thank you, very Cronenberg.
okay, so yeah, so this is fucking horrifying. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
This thing is not aware of my presence, and it's strapped to the fucking chair.
It
correct?
is, in fact, strapped to the chair. It is making horrible noises, like it is angry, but also in pain and sad at the same time.
And does this thing? Okay, does it smell human? Does
No.
it smell?
Not at all.
Oh, okay. Like this thing is entirely crafted out of ghouls, canites.
Yeah, it smells. It has a faint scent of human, but there's something else on top of it.
Ugh. All right. So what else? What else is in there besides this thing?
Just that. Just that. And
Literally just a basement. That thing's strapped down, and there's nothing else there.
nope. It looks like there is a bite mark that is currently bleeding. It looks like that might have been what Andrew Bates was coming to ice over. Even though you can lick a wound close.
Yeah, that's. All right. This is one of those weird times. I'm like, I just murdered somebody, and I'm here deciding on pity for this thing or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because part of me is like, set this building on fire, like you've done so many
Yeah,
other times.
kill it with fire.
Correct.
Just walk. Because
Yeah.
this thing, yeah. All right. Yeah, no, kill it with fire.
Okay. The MO returns.
The what?
The MO returns.
Yes, the MO does return. Heading upstairs. Set up a gas leak or whatever the fuck we can do for this thing.
Yep.
'Cause obviously, I don't have like random cans of gasoline on hand. At all
No.
times.
It is probably the kindest thing that Andreas has done in this season.
If the thing had more,
I love how
if it had fewer heads, I would have blown its brains out. But I'm not even sure which is the right set of brains.
Correct.
I mean,
You don't know where it is.
Fire is the most the most benevolent as well as the most terrible idea.
Well, don't forget the original law of illusions for me. Just because you don't know my fire, just because the fire's an illusion doesn't mean it doesn't cause Rostrek.
Correct.
So, because that was going to be my other option, to have the just flames appearing right in front of his eyes without even like engulfing him.
Yeah.
Just having him just.
But you will set the house on fire. The neighbor of the thing does manage to get out before it spreads into their unit.
Good.
But
And I'm long gone at that point.
yeah, 100%. And as you drive off into the sunrise, and as Erikson and Samuel bed down for the night in a stranger's home to Erikson, mind you, you guys were put to sleep, like you were given cots and laid out in front of the torture chamber.
Yeah, it's not like I'm gonna have nightmares or anything.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
received.
you weren't allowed in the house.
I mean, at this point, Bruja understands. At this point, Bruja understands, and it's more of a torture, so to, quote unquote, for Sam to be here with me as opposed to me being here.
100%. Because
It reflects poorly on me.
It is a testimony to your self-control that a Bruja is being treated like a field individual and hasn't lost his temper over it.
yeah, because you know that the driver was given a bed.
Look, I will say this. We're needing information. I can't just burn down everybody's house and then somehow miraculously I get what I want. That's not how this is gonna happen.
Yeah.
Besides, I just met Sam, and this is his connect. I can't just, good first impressions is the best way to go. That's what I've realized.
Yeah. Look
That's
at
a
you.
strong word.
That's called growth. That's a character arc right there.
But what I would like to do though is
Don't set this
while
place
we're
on fire.
Don't say this
No.
one's on fire.
But however, what I would like to do though is I just for the time being while we're there is if he has any writings, anything that he's written personally in this, because it's usually Annabelle, but if he has any writings, journaling, anything, notes that he would have probably left that I can look at.
He didn't. The only thing that you can take a look at is the artwork.
So, but he signed the artwork, right?
It's not him.
Oh,
None of the artwork has a J, at least for the first letter. It looks like it's Annabelle's art.
good. I actually want to like one of the last things doing this is trying to mimic her handwriting, which just I would like to know I would like to just have that just in case.
I mean, you can try, but you've only got 4 names to go off of.
Mm-hmm.
The other handwriting for the list of 10 names is or 12 names is in Johann's writing, which is very different. It's very very loopy, almost like it was trained with calligraphy instead of like pencils and pens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still want to try.
Sure. I mean, Annabelle's paintings are really, really. You're not an artist, but they look good. They're in the vein of Van Gogh more than anything. So it's very stylized nature scenes.
Well, it's mostly just trying to get her handwriting. I really don't care about the art because fuck the art. Fuck the art.
All right.
I don't see no Toreadors in our coterie.
Yeah. Right. But thank you guys for coming back for our next episode. Can't wait to see what happens. I'm thinking, given the events of tonight's situation and the removal of one Andrew Bates from the board, we might need an Elysium episode.
Ooh.
So we can share information with each other. But I'll put the feelers out for that to see if the cast can coordinate. But thank you, boys. Thank you to the audience for joining us. As always, I want to give you guys a chance to plug whatever you're into. So we'll start with you, Kenny. What are you up to? Where can we find you online if you want to be found?
You can find me for my personal account, so Mr. Underscore with the underscore in between each word. You can find that on social media platforms. You can also find Crit or Die on Twitch as well as TikTok. I have already just played about, I want to say 2 hours into Expedition 33. I will say that it's beautiful to watch. It's also it's not a crazy 100-hour type of game. This is more of a 30 to 40 hour gameplay. So it's a nice palate cleanser for a lot of these immersed RPGs that you play. Other than that, you can also find me on Spotify with Black Cat Miami. You can find my music there if you like 90s alternative. And I haven't said this in a while. Thank you to my parents that for whatever reason watch the stream, even though they have no idea what's going on.
Perfect.
I appreciate them. Thank you for that.
Yeah, so do I. Eric, what are you up to? Where can we find you online if you want to be found?
Nah, it's really hard to find me these days. I'm just getting ready to be a dad, so 99% of my time is not spent online.
Perfect. And then Tara, what are you up to? Where can we find you online if you want to be found?
Here, I'm playing some Salem vampires like tonight, or on Thursdays playing L5R as a samurai. Other than that, you can find me over on Mixed Ever Studios, where I play a mage on Wednesday nights with that storyteller up there in the corner. And then on Saturday nights, I play another vampire in a different city, Chicago.
Yeah.
Judy on Ash.
And I have to tell you that Spotter is so different from Samuel. That I'm always
I
like,
had to.
is this the same person?
Mm.
So I'm excited.
Cool.
Role playing.
Yeah, right. Who does that anymore? But yeah, thank you guys for coming back. Thank you to the audience. As always, you can catch us here on Monday for Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition. Tuesdays are for Scion 1st edition or Werewolf the Wild West, and Thursdays are for Legend of the Five Rings or 7th Sea. You can find me on Wednesdays over at McStabber Studios, where I am currently running a Mage the Ascension 20th anniversary game set in 2018 Miami. And Fridays you can catch me whenever they allow me to sneak on as a cameo for my handsome Baron of Kansas City, Rurik Rakosi, who has never done anything wrong in his life. He's a saint. But thank you guys, and thank you to the audience. As always, we take mental health on the channel very seriously, so please know that it is okay to not be okay. And if you need help and you're watching live, there's phone numbers going up in our Twitch chat. So you know that there are people out there who want to help you and who are trained to help you. And so all you got to take is that first step. If you don't do well with phone calls or text messages, you can always go to findahelpline.com just in case you can't reach your phone or you're easier. You deal with it easier over the internet. So just know that there are people out there and there are resources so you can find the help that you need. And all it takes is that first step. And I know that it is a shit show, at least here in America. But just know that there are trained people out there, and we are not an island unto ourselves, so don't be afraid to take that first step, please. As always, we will see you when we see you. Have a good night, everybody. Bye.